Hello, folks. Hope you're well. You may well be similar to me in the sense that you've come to have an interest in mental health and fitness through experiences that haven't been positive, through setbacks in your life, adversity, difficulties, and you have this thought somewhere in your head which says, if only I'd known that years ago. And of course, it's ridiculous to think that. There's nothing we can do to change it. But I think that's what often inspires or motivates people to try and pass on a little bit of what's worked for them so that others maybe don't need to experience the things that we have, or at least in the same way. So with that in mind, it's always a bit of a awkward balance between wanting to pass on things that have worked for us, but not preaching and not telling people what to do, or giving advice that might not be applicable to them. And might not be the right person to do it, not clinically trained, not someone who's able to see the whole picture. But some nudges in directions to help people be curious and find out things for themselves surely isn't a bad thing to do. So the idea of these videos is for the few that watch them to maybe give you a nudge in that direction if you've taken an interest in it. If you're here because you've been to an open up cricket session, you support the concept of what it is, any reason really. So I could jump straight into saying what is there that you could do, like the practice of meditation, keeping a journal, some books that have been particularly useful, some mindset approaches. But rather than just saying what works for me, I'm going to go back to something which underpins a lot of this, and that's the 5 ways to well-being. The world over, you'll find these as part of the conversation or the literature about how to maintain good mental health. And the more now we're considering things proactively, particularly as a result of COVID, where you've seen a lot of things online about how to manage your mental health, how to protect against declines. These 5 things are really simple, but that's where we can often jump past it. I think there's going to be some secret yet to be revealed, which is going to contain all the answers. But in actual fact, these 5 things can be really important building blocks to be able to work out what's going to be the best methods for us. So these 5 things are also available freely throughout cricket. And this is beautiful. This is something which makes us think, actually, cricket isn't just fantastic for all the reasons we already think it is, but it has the ability to be able to give us opportunities to improve and look after the mental health of ourselves and those around us. So for these 5 things, the first one, which I think does really link all of them together, is connect. Whether that be playing, training, at the club, watching a social or what have you, we have the opportunity to be able to connect with others. And people outside of team sports or club environments will often look in and consider what's the attraction, why do these people spend so much of their time involved with it? But the connection's got to be a big part of it. Can make great friends through the sport, as we all know. But those things that we get from connecting are very good protective factors towards our mental health. In fact, loneliness and isolation, we see so many reports of how damaging they can be. So if you take connection as being almost part of an opposite to that, then that can really underpin all of this. Another one in the 5, along with connect, is give. And giving to others helps us, of course, connect, but makes us feel good as well. That sense of altruism, making us feel like we're part of something, and it's not just about our experience and our frame of reference. And linked to that, the 3rd one is take notice. This can be along the lines of mindfully observing what's around us, considering nature, the environment we're in. But it can also be taking notice of what others are doing, seeing how we can help them, seeing how we can find ways of connecting, and taking it out of just our experience, taking a break from it only being about us. 4th one is keep learning. Cricket provides so many opportunities to keep learning if we allow it to give us these lessons, whether it be practicing a new delivery, whether it be working out the length that a bowler is delivering to us and how we play it, and the fact that Each week at cricket presents a different challenge to us, and no one masters it. So there's always something we can do to keep learning. And with the pace of the game moving on so much, runs per over creeping up every time we play, it seems, there's always ways of being able to keep learning new skills and new approaches within it. Again, if we let it, so that's an avenue within that as well. But hopefully, a good team environment is one that promotes that opportunity to learn, where we do share things with each other and what a teammate might be able to teach us, as well as the coaches and other people around us. And the fifth one is be active. That's probably the most well-known link between the ways to well-being and our mental health, is keeping active, and how being physically active can help us with our mental health as well, through the release of the endorphins, through the satisfaction that we get, the accomplishment, but also the opportunity to do that activity with others and staying connected. So of those 5 things there, something I found really useful a while back was getting those things and seeing what can I do either within cricket or other areas of my life to maximise them, to engage with those ways to well-being, to give myself some things that I can control that have a positive influence on my mental health and fitness. And if I was to add a 6th to turn it into a completely cricketing focus, 6 balls in an over, although of course we've got the 100, changing that somewhat. The 6th one for me would be rest and taking a break. So we can again overlook. But you compare that with physical health. We don't run and run and run until we collapse. We realise that a break is going to be useful. It's going to help us recharge and go again. The same applies mentally there. When do we take our breaks? How do we do that? Do we really switch off at the end of a day, or are we scrolling through our phones, given more and more things going around our heads there? So those 5 ways to well-being, and maybe that 6th one there, can be the basis of establishing things that we know are good for our mental health and fitness, if we just start off with that. And perhaps in weeks to come, myself and others will share things which are more specific that might be there. But I would really advocate to anyone to engage with those things. Be curious and have a look around to see what can be done through those 5 or 6 things which can give us that little bit of a lift and a boost. Have a great week.